generated my own hip hop.
We've been venturing into a little bit of hip hop shit here and there with the Rap City and just the different freestyles. Started with that Harry Mack stuff at the very beginning, and today I'm focused on. We just did the Billboard 50 list with the top 50 rappers, and we're coming over to Fantano, who did our review over there on that list, and I kind of compared and contrasted between our viewpoints on that, even though I felt like we had pretty synonymous viewpoints of how the hip-hop game is kind of being narrated and I don't want to say controlled, but to an extent, you know what I'm saying, molded to what they want it to be, and kind of, or at least what I think it is and what he thinks it is as well. Today we're going over his, he said he got 55 MCs. This is a little bit longer of a vid. Hold on, let me get through this ad, man.
Smoking hurts your lungs? I've got you covered. You need to try.
Hey everyone, Anthony
Yeah, so 55 top rappers. We got Fantano pulled up right here. I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with him. And you know what, man? This thing says it's 36 minutes long, so I'm not trying to be here forever. Let's go ahead and get started, see what he's talking about.
Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. Hope you're doing well. And doing a list here of something I've been thinking about for a while, plotting on for a little bit. I figured that no reason to wait on this any longer because such a list is going to evolve over time anyway. I shouldn't sweat too much this idea of it being the most perfect list ever as soon as I drop it, as soon as I unleash it. And that is who I feel are the 55 greatest rappers of all time. Now, I will also say this list is not tiered or oriented in any way other than alphabetical. However, everyone on this list I think is pretty significant artistically. You know, 55, when you think about the broader sense of hip-hop, is quite the limitation. It leaves out a lot of artists. It does leave out a lot of voices. There are certainly artists who are not on this list who are great, but this is a greatest list, and obviously at the end of the day, this is my opinion. I went into this list with a bit of a methodology. There are many out there like this where maybe what the person curating the whole thing is taking into account is just style, skill, technical ability, and that is something I took into account too, and something I think is important as well. But simultaneously, I also think catalog is super important. There are a lot of artists out there who do have a quality catalog, but they may not have the most flash, the most skill, the most technical ability, because I don't think making a good song boils down simply to that, no matter what genre you're talking about. I tried to take into account relevancy to the genre, the culture, commercial success too. I think you will find that most of the artists here, or at least a great deal of them, check 3 of those boxes to some degree, but there are some names that have landed on this list where maybe they have a great catalog, maybe they have a lot of style and skill, but not the most commercial success. Maybe they have commercial success, maybe they have a lot of style and skill, but maybe they don't have the greatest catalog in the world. So, you know, a bit of a mix depending on who we're talking about, but I don't think missing one of those things or having less of one of those things to another artist comparatively should necessarily, you know, knock you entirely off of the possibility of being on such a list. So those are my thoughts. That was my mentality going into this. You know what I'm about to present to you. Quickly, before I get into that, I do want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, good people over at The Ridge. They make these awesome, nifty, metal-plated, minimalist wallets that fit nicely in your front pocket. Hit up that link down below. Get 10% off of your order and use promo code MELON. All right, 55 great.
So, a rundown of the criteria. Talking about skills, talking about catalog, talking about commercial success. And I'm sure he's going to, you know, mediate that all very well. It seems like he's thought about this list pretty in depth. So again, let's just do it.
Greatest rappers, alphabetical order. Let's do it. Scrolling down. Who are we gonna see first? All right, we have some names over here. Tupac, one of the greatest West Coast rappers. Kind of good.
I like his list already because it has A$AP Rock on there. A$AP Rock is so slept on when it comes to hip hop, especially in the now. Like, Hold on, let me check when this video dropped, actually. This video was 2020. So 2 years ago, roughly 2 years ago, in October 2020. A$AP Rock on the list. I'm liking this.
Goes without saying, you know, his reputation cease or him.
All the other names, I mean, I'm sure y'all know. Tupac, Andre 3000, Biggie. Come on.
Multiple classics under his belt, lots of style, lots of hits, lots of impact, just sort of the total package in a lot of respects. A$AP Rock, comparatively not as commercially successful, but well known to those who are aware of him as being one of the most verbose and creative lyricists out.
A$AP is so, he's such a, man, he just he weaves a web when he rhymes. Like, you'll be catching stuff and then losing them and then catching them and losing them, but that's what makes it fun to go back and really check out A$AP, man. And his beat selection for me is just always just out the gutters, but like he's got a few great ones. One of my favorite A$APs is Daylight, and that's kind of like a more upbeat tone, kind of like a brighter tone, but it still like deals with some like gutter shit, man.
There, I think there's actually been a counts done of which rappers have the largest vocabulary, or you know, which rappers apply the largest vocabulary to their songs, and it is far and away A$AP Rock. His you know, sort of encyclopedic dictionary knowledge of English is insane, and the way he applies it into his music is quite unique, and he has a solid discography too. So you know, and a very strong cult following as well. So you know, not to say the guy has been totally unsuccessful or anything. Andre 3000, one half of Outkast, obviously incredibly talented, great flows, commercial success, creative to the core, and top-notch lyricist as well. Biggie Smalls, Notorious B.I.G., many would say the King of New York, classics under his belt, amazing songs, great performance style, great flow, instantly recognizable voice, and influenced many, many, many who came after him. Next on this list, I obviously have Big Boi, not coming too far after Andre. I think he deserves to be on this list as well. I mean, sure, we all love Andre 3000, but a lot of those talents, what we love about him, is attributed to Outkast's music, in which Big Boi is no slouch. Comes through with great lyrical gems.
Said this many times before. Big Boi is one of the most slept on MCs, I think, and maybe in the history of hip hop, just due to his pairing with Andre 3000. And no, it's not a Pip and Jordan situation. It's more like you got two Batmans, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got Batman from Universe 1 and you got Batman from Universe 2. It ain't a Pip and Jordan type thing, you know what I mean? Because, you know, it's kind of like an Inspector Dick situation to where, like, Big Boi sets off most of the jams, like So Fresh, So Clean, or it's definitely Miss Jackson, or just rock them two verses like he does. Granted, Andre's verse is, you know, the most sung along with, but who's rocking the main vibe the whole time? It's Big Boi, man. And then shoot, even before that, just Southern Playalistic, and just his whole just demeanor on the mic with his slang, and then just tone, and how he be slurring words together. Some of his cadences is just crazy, just with that Southern flavor on it. You know what I mean? Like, it's zinged up for real. And yeah, definitely pleased to see him on the list. You know, we're gonna get to see if he says anything about Big Daddy and Billy Woods. I'm glad to see him, because I'm actually unfamiliar with Billy Woods, so I'm about to go check out Billy Woods.
Fantastic song and hook ideas, amazing flows, good vocal tone and personality as well. I mean, I don't think the guy would consistently on record be up against someone who many perceive to be one of the GOATs if he didn't also have a huge amount of talent himself. He sounds great on those Outkast records, and he sounds great out of the context.
AT-Aliens, Big Boi has some of the rawest verses on AT-Aliens, man. Like, Wheels of Steel. I mean, the main track of AT-Aliens, man, like, cooler than a polar bear's toenails. You know what I'm saying? That was big, so Big Boi.
Next of Outkast too. He's a guy who can certainly hold his own inside and outside of that duo. I think he is very well deserving of a spot on this list. Next, Big Daddy Kane. We have some more names rolling up. One of the rawest rappers to ever come out of New York. One of the rawest rappers of the 80s, too. I mean, some of the stuff that this guy was doing in the late 80s on record was bestial. Just like going on and on and on and on, and just like a machine. Just a total machine. And
Big Daddy Kane just drops bars forever. Like, and that's what he's talking about, man. Just the iron lung, man. Big Daddy Kane can go, man. And some of his acapella freestyles is just crazy. Like, to hear him, man, like, and that's why I like looking at a lot of these rappers too. Like, a lot of these rappers, you can take the beat from them, and you don't lose nothing. You're gonna get all the character that you get in the track, man. Like, that's what makes an MC to me.
And you know, his almost you could say Lothario type aesthetic that he would apply to a lot of his promo stuff, his album covers, just the way he presented himself and promoted himself was certainly influential too. Billy Woods coming in after that, probably the most underrated name in this list. I think one of the most creative, unique, and enigmatic rappers to come out of the East Coast. Mega solid catalog, strong cult following. What he's done between his solo stuff, Superchron, also Arm & Hammer, the duo that he's in with Elucid, all of that has been insanely good, prolific, creative. I think in a lot of respects, Billy Woods is the total package. When you're talking about abstract hip-hop, I think he's one of the best modern names out there. Black Thought of the Roots, mega spitter, awesome lyricist, just beast of a voice too, and obviously the vocal leader, the lead MC of the hip hop band of note. So there's not really much more that can be said beyond that. I think his talent speaks for itself, his impact speaks for itself, and the fact that he's been able to maintain such an immense amount of relevance all this time is impressive. And
Black Thought, man, he's hitting on the relevancy right now. It's crazy because you don't see many names such as a Black Thought. Just to, put it in quotations, Black Thought. Like, it's an out there name to begin with, and it's amazing to see such an out there name and kind of abstract name be so impactful, man. Because again, like, you kind of get lost. Like, I think Aesop Rock, that's kind of like one of the reasons he might get lost, just because, you so abstract with it. But Black Thought, man, just surround himself with the right people, found his vibe, man. And again, being so powerful on the mic, not only just lyrically, but with the energy and just setting the tone. You know what I'm saying? Setting the tone to meet up with on that band, man. The band meets him at a lot of times. You know what I mean? It's such a good chemistry with Thought, man. It's great, man. It's great, man. Glad to see him on the list. And he's going to touch on Danny Brown, too. I'm anxious to see what he say about Danny, man, because Danny was kind of like, for me at least, like, he was just a quick hitter. Like, I don't know. I'm not deep in Danny's catalog, but I always knew he had a odd style and a different style. And, again, his voice, just how he attacks the mic it's unique in itself. So I'm anxious to see what he say about him. And Bun B, like, we know what that is.
And important. Danny Brown, one of the best Detroit rappers out there, mega eccentric style, great catalog too. He had some commercial success as well, and I think he could have had more if he sort of sold his soul at the point where it seemed opportune, but instead he has kind of chosen, more, I guess, creative and true to his self route, which I greatly admire and appreciate, and I think his music has stayed fantastic and has stayed engaging and entertaining as a result of that. Danny Brown, he is an impressive spitter, and he's also got a pen game to boot. And you can't really say many people out there sound like Danny Brown, or at least sounded like Danny Brown, by the time he dropped. You can't really say that. Dude has a groundbreaking style. And
it's just wild. Like, yeah, like, you can't say it's like ODB because they both their own thing. Like, I would never say ODB sounds like Danny Brown, but Danny Brown hits like something like that. Like, I don't know. I no disrespect to Danny, man. His just how he comes at the mic, it's just, I don't know. He just got hit, man. It's just wild. It's kind of like sound like a spring like speaking, you know what I mean? Or like a slinky like speaking to me, like it's just off the walls, like a ping pong ball, but springy, like loing, 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 but he like rhyming with that. It's great.
Voice. Bun B, UGK, one of the best rappers out of the South, super smooth style, great catalog, creative and legendary. Not much else to say beyond that. Busta Rhymes, one of the flashiest, most creative and versatile rappers out of New York. People talk technical ability, and Busta Rhymes was really doing a lot of head-spinning shit back in the day before a lot of people were. Like, he just had a level of skill that, he continued to hone. And, while he may not have the best catalog of a lot of people out there, you can't really deny that he has been influential to many, especially those who care about flow, care about lyricism, care about, sort of the technical proficiencies of rapping. Check out a lot of his early features, check out his debut, check out a lot of his big singles. He has some classic shit in the 90s that, should not go ignored. Chuck D, public.
I gotta speak on Busta, because I definitely think, he's kind of slept on, unfortunately. Like, Busta, man, like, flavor in your ear on the last verse after Biggie and LL and Rip, man, come on. And then Break Your Neck, one of the flyest joints, Head Knockers, Pastor Cavossier, not on the album. I don't know what happened to it on the Genesis album, but the Pastor Cavossier joint, even going back to the beginning with his joints with Tribe, just his voice on Oh My God, and just an iconic figure, man, all around. There's nothing Busta doesn't bring to the spectrum. Energy, lyrics, flow. I always think he's just got a spiritual essence with it. Like, you gotta have these things, you know what I mean? Definitely gotta shout out some mentions for Buzz.
Public Enemy, one of the greatest voices in hip-hop, a revolutionary lyricist, great energy, unique style and tone. I think the Public Enemy catalog, too, speaks for itself, not only in terms of what he and Flava Flav presented, vocally and lyrically, but also, being as creative on the production end as Public Enemy was back in the day with the Bomb Squad. Common, one of the most conscious, forward-thinking, and significant rappers to come out of Chicago. A class act, great catalog, unique.
Chuck D, just glad to see him on here, of course, with the Public Enemy Black Power movement. And then he's talking on Common right now. Common, man, I always say Common is one of the best ever.
Voice.
He's talking about right now the iconic voice, just the storytelling ability. Just, I don't know, man. It's like how he attacks the mic and his voice, man. It just kind of brings you into the whole experience. And then his wordplay and just how he goes about scripting rhymes sometimes is just like, it hits you from a point you don't see, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people is blown away by, I used to love her when he's talking about hip-hop. And, how he takes hip-hop through all these different phases and how he's trying to get with her, you know what I mean? So it's something like that. Just, that's genius. So Common right there.
Perceptive artist, and has maintained as much relevancy as he has over this time because of those talents and because of those abilities. So a shout out to him, certainly. Daveed Diggs, fantastic West Coast rapper of the group Clipping, and many of you may also know him from the Broadway production Hamilton, the hip-hop theater crossover, which obviously, he didn't create it, he didn't write it, but he plays a central role in that, production, and obviously I think is, historically significant for that reason as well. I mean, he's kind of a shining star in that whole thing, but also, it has to be kind of acknowledged and respected, what he and Clipping have brought in terms of pushing the envelope on the end of noise hip-hop, industrial hip-hop, experimental conceptual hip-hop as well. Dude's ability to flow is insane. Clipping just dropped a track where he's just like spitting in 7 time like it's nothing. His storytelling abilities are incredible for anybody who values that too. The dude has just everything. He's if rap were an RPG, like all of his attributes would be boosted to insane levels. Like the technical skill, the lyricism, like the cleanliness of his delivery too, and his ability to, again, like deliver topics, deliver concepts that have so many layers to them. If you are unaware of Diggs' work, unaware of clipping, unaware of what he's done in Hamilton, please make yourself aware, because I think he's one of the best modern talents out there. Next we have Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Huge shout out to Diggs right there. He's kind of like a Billy Cat for me. Not as familiar with him. I guess, newer figure, that man. I don't really venture as much as I used to. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to really dive in and find artists, but now it's just so much, and you're trying to get your own shit done. And I just, when I find it, I find it. You know what I mean? So, I heard about that. I did listen to the Hamilton tape though, and it was impressive. So I'll just have to check out some more Diggs.
One of the greatest West Coast rappers out there if you're talking abstract and conscious hip-hop. Sharp voice, great flows, stellar lyrical abilities too. Great catalog. Also what he did with Deltron 3030 is worth noting. And it's also worth questioning, considering that they broke out the gate with Clint Eastwood. Would Gorillaz even be as relevant a musical venture as it is today, if not for that Del the Funky Homo Sapien feature?
Del set off the Gorillaz. I mean, we do got to be real about that. And Del also was a huge in the skate culture. You turn on a lot of those old skate tapes, man. Del the Funky Homo Sapien is, he's truly iconic as far as some video parts and montages. I know he's in the Tony Hawk Pro Skater scene, so got a lot of followers through that, man, that underground type of culture. Del the Funky Homo Sapien, was it Hieroglyphics also, great group with them, not to be slept on, man. But this is why I'm fucking with this list, man, because again, like, there's some names that you might not be as familiar with, but Fantano, man, I ain't saying everything he say is right or whatever, but he is a well-rounded listener. And he's not just putting you in the front because you need to be in the front. And we only at D, so there's a lot of cats still coming up. And no DMX. I'm seeing that. So that might set some people off if you're watching this. He might appear later in the list. I know some of the alphabetical was getting shaky for a minute. But he got Drake on here. And DMX did not like Drake. So this is going to be interesting.
It's really worth wondering. This guy has had... not the largest amount of name recognition in the industry, but he has had huge impacts here and there that often, I think, go overlooked a little bit. Dizzy Rascal, what he did for UK hip-hop, and I think putting grime on the map in the way that he did in the 2000s is most definitely unignorable and should be praised and lauded, so a shout out to him. He's certainly a unique voice and talent. Drake, Drizzy. I mean, you guys know on this channel that I'm not necessarily the...
That might be my first disagreement. DMX, man. I mean, I get it. Like, he's not the most lyrically, but as far as energy, voice, catalog, what he did in his run, like, I just can't leave X off the list. And he's just, a quality MC. Like, DMX was that dude, man. I just can't leave him off the list like that. You know what I mean? Like, no disrespect to who he's got on his list. You know what I mean? Man, he got DMX off this list. That's crazy to me, for real.
The biggest Drake fan in the world. He's had, records and tracks that I like quite a bit, some that I don't. But, I can't deny the fact that Drake does have a respectable style, and Drake does have... a lot of credibility artistically. And Drake also, I think, is the most dominant and relevant hip-hop artist of the 2010s. And I think he has...
You can't really argue that. You know what I mean? Like, Drake, it kind of is what it is, right? Like, it is what it is. You don't gotta like it. But it is what it is, man. Like, you know what I mean? You can hate on it. But, fact of the matter is, he's just done what he's done and got what he's got. You know what I mean? And some say he played to the females and all that, man. If that's your game, I guess get it how you get it, man. But I ain't gonna do it. You know what I mean? Like, some people don't want to do it like that. But as I said, don't hate on it, man. Don't hate the play, hate the game, man. And that's just what it is with Drake, man.
has played a very central role to bringing the genre to the commercial zenith that it's at currently. Obviously, he's not the only rapper of the modern age who's had, mainstream moments. I'm not trying to say that. Next, we have Eminem, known as the largest selling rapper of all time and major commercial peaks in the 2000s. I loved his stuff back in the day when I was a kid. I remember, I think, being in 8th grade when the Slim Shady LP came out and the My Name Is video came out, and just loving how being a hip-hop fan up until that point, it was interesting to sort of see how edgy and cartoony and weird, and I
really miss that old M, man. I miss that Slim Shady M, and we always talk about that, right? We miss the old, and I understand it, man. Like, as far as nostalgia is in play, but I also understand as an artist that you want to evolve and not be the same. But I always appreciated that kind of comic book panel to panel style that Eminem would paint with his lyrics, man. Like, just a lot of cool, like, can't say cool imagery because it's kind of dark, but definitely just a cartoony comic book type of way of putting rhymes together and delivery, and again with his voice and just some of the ad libs on the tracks at that time, man, it just was hip hop, man, and it's definitely a lot more enjoyable to me then than he is now. Like, he kind of got to that point where he was doing that staccato type of hit, like around, like, what was it, Recovery or Relapse, I think it was. When he got to that style, I kind of stopped getting on him. Like, it wasn't really my thing. Recovery kind of came back a little harder on Recovery, at least for me. Like, but again, like, I just always appreciated the kind of more, like, is it bad to say, like, immature M? I just kind of like him as a brat, man, like, or as a punk kid, like, not even a punk kid, but just you know what I'm saying, like the I don't give a fuck manner, which he still has that, but it was just zany then. Like, that, again, comic book panel to panel style, just some of the imageries he put together. Y'all know what I'm saying.
As silly his music was, while also being pretty dark and serious. I mean, as badly as some of Eminem's stuff has aged over the years, can't really deny that was certainly influential to a lot of the dark and tongue-in-cheek and strange avenues that a lot of rappers are going down these days in their own way. So, Eminem has his stuff proven to have the most shelf life, especially those weaker records deeper into his discography. No, I mean, many people, I think it's pretty well known that his discog is a little rough at this point in certain spots. But having said that, Eminem still huge impact, huge influence. I don't think hip-hop would be the same without him. And that's reason enough to...
No, that's a fact. Hip-hop would not be the same without him. And that's for better or for worse, but that is a damn fact. And, he kind of spoke on it with the discography. I don't know if I would call it a weak discography. I just want to say it kind of trended away from what people hopped on for. You know what I mean? And again, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing either. I don't think it is. I think it's just, life and how we, how life moves. But especially M's life, man, like just coming from where he's come from, the addictions and, you know what I'm saying, and the recoveries and, no pun intended, but yeah, it's just like, you got to change your persona sometimes and change up your whole mentality sometimes. And I don't know M no type of way. So, do what you do, my dude. You know what I mean? I appreciate what you brought to the game. And, yeah, he definitely, I mean, we can't sit here and act like he don't need to be on the list, right? Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people want to hate on M. I can't hate on M, man. I appreciate M for what he's brought to the game, man. And when he came back for Eminem show, Two Trailer Park Girls Go Around the Outside, like, man, I was hyped for that video when it dropped, man. Like, I was really waiting for him to come back because I was anxious to see what he's gonna talk about. But yeah, I like him, man.
Put him on this list. All right, LP, mega talented New York rapper, lyricist, and producer. What he's been able to accomplish between his own solo work, with Cannibal Ox, with Def Jux, and obviously Run the Jewels too, with Killer Mike, is certainly worthy of putting him on this list as far as the underground goes. LP is a rapper that you must know about. Eric Sermon. Great flows, great style, super smooth.
Eric Eric Simon. Hey. Hold on, I messed that up, y'all. My bad. Yeah, man, please listen to my demo, Eric Sermon, EPMD. I always like Eric. He got that lisp, right? And he's smooth with it though. Like, and he hangs with a bunch of hype cats like Keith Murray and Redman, right? So when he gets on the mic, it kind of smooths out the session, but he's still coming rough. And it was kind of the same way with Parrish Smith, man. Like Parrish would kind of hit it hard, and Eric would kind of like smooth it out. And I always appreciate that of his style. Again, not the most lyrically. I ain't gonna say his lyrics is bad or nothing. It's just kind of sometimes the delivery is kind of just, you know, it's not Busta Rhymes, right? He's not coming rapid and cutting it up and chopping it up. He just kind of say what he say, you know what I mean, and then he just move on out. But there ain't nothing wrong with that. I think that's what makes Eric Eric, and I appreciate that.
Lyrically talented too. EPMD, you know, great records under their belt. So, you know, Eric's contributions to hip hop in the time that he arrived, I think, are, you know, undeniable and, you know, worthy of placement on this list. You know, a true class.
And definitely when you're talking on a producer tip, it's not rapid, but man, he just bring that funk, right? The funky bass lines and just keeping the party jumping. And even on that, he's pretty well rounded with the samples he takes, and just, I don't know, man, like he got his own flavor, right? Like a great producer to me is always ones that keep hop ones like, oh yeah, he produced that. Like again, Jay Dilla is good for that. Pete Rock is good for it. Definitely Premier is good for it. You know what I mean? Alchemist is on that tone. Like you just kind of know when they taking it over, right? Or like Timberland again, like Swizzy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they got an element to their creations that is just like, it's like they signature on the track.
Classic, a true classic, and you know, one of the guys you know, who was there doing some of the best stuff that, you know, the genre had to offer when hip hop's blueprint was still forming in a lot of ways. You know, the blueprint wouldn't be what it is. I mean, he's one of a few artists here who you could say this about, but, you know, the blueprint wouldn't be what it is, you know, and sort of, I think, a lot of hip-hop's ethos, too, you know, in terms of, you know, if you look at songs like The Crossover, for example, you know, I don't think would be what it is without Eric kind of laying the groundwork for that and putting his own, you know, thoughts out there and them being as widely applied as they are. Freddie Gibbs, I think somebody who didn't have necessarily the strongest start in the industry, but someone who has certainly come into his own as far as a versatile rapper and vocalist with great bars, great energy, a pretty relentless performer too. Over the years, the guy's really honed his craft and refined himself, and he has become a machine. You know, and he's kind of growing in terms of his catalog becoming more impressive. His commercial, you know, peaks and connections are getting bigger and bigger by the day. And the guy just sort of seems unstoppable at this point. You know, he's at a point in his career where you might think his best days or his best records are behind him, but for Freddie, it's really actually the opposite. You know, ever since he really kind of got juiced up with Pinata being one of the best hip-hop albums of the 2010s. You know, he's just kind of grown and grown from there, and it's going to be interesting to see where he goes next. So Freddie, easily one of the best rappers of the past decade, and I think if he continues on the streak that he's on, he'll be one of the best rappers of this decade too. Gangsta Boo, 3 6 Mafia fame, I think one of the most significant rappers of the South. Huge respect to her and her influence. And, you know, what she did with 3 6 is undeniable. What she did with 3 6 is significant. Hopefully she continues to grow that solo catalog into the future, too. We have Ghostface. Ghostface Killah, one of at least a few members of the Wu-Tang Clan that you'll find on this list. I mean, his contributions to Wu-Tang alone, I think, are worthy of putting him on this list. But as far as Wu-Tang members go, I think he has the largest, most consistent catalog as well, with many classics and influential records and contributions in that catalog. Whether you're talking about Fish Scale, whether you're talking about Supreme Clientele, whether you're talking about the stuff he's done with Raekwon too. So, you know, Ghostface Killah, I think one of the best rappers out of New York, and, you know, don't need to say anything more than that. GZA as well, excellent Wu-Tang contributions. Liquid Swords, I don't think you need to say much more. I think a lot of what you said about, you know, or what I said about Ghostface can apply to the Jizza as well.
It's crazy when you can just talk about one album and it's just like, oh yeah, understood. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what it comes to with these Wu type dudes, man. Like I've said it a million times. Ghostface, one of my favorites all time, and Jizza, man, of course. Liquid Swords, man, it's just a timeless classic, man. Like just even bringing it up makes me want to listen to it, right? Because it's just a whole nother world you're going to, and it's just that's just Wu-Tang to me in general, man. Some of the best to ever do it right there, man. No question. And I'm sure he's got a couple more of them on here.
A lot of people don't know this, but if you have the YouTube app on your phone, you could be using it to make...
Dude, do y'all find that... I know this ain't a part of it. Do y'all find that annoying, though? People just popping up in your video talking about nothing? Like, come on, man.
Miss Lauryn Hill. Miseducation. Amazing record, classic record, fantastic ability to fuse multiple genres and just create these great crossovers and hit commercial success with it too. Incredible commercial success, and not to downplay the stuff that she did with the Fugees too, because I think that's certainly counting when it comes to my decision to include her.
It's gotta count, man. People dog on Lauryn Hill all the time, and then I gotta hear about Nicki Minaj. Listen, man, Lauryn Hill on the Fugees album. Every verse she has is just ridiculously cold, man. And she on there with two, like, you know, quality lyricists, Wyclef and, man, the third Fuji member. And no disrespect, because he's got some dope lines on that album, man. But I cannot remember his name. But Lauryn Hill, man, like, yeah, you can't sleep on her as a lyricist, like, especially when it comes to that album, like. And it might be a catalog thing. A lot of people recognize her for having one of the best hip hop albums of all time, but it's like she was never like a Redman to me, right? Like Redman's consistent bars for days on everything, like right. Got a lot of things you can go check out for his rhyme delicacy or whatever. But Lauryn Hill is kind of the opposite. Like you really gotta be into hip hop already, and then you gotta understand it to step into the Fugees album and really understand what she puts down on that album, like for real.
On this list, Ice Cube, NWA, obviously, great solo records, obviously, huge impact, obviously. Ice Cube's kind of had it all, you know. Super recognizable voice, distinct lyrical style too. And versatile as well, you know, which I think has proven his ability, or was proven in his ability to write for, you know, his cohorts so effectively. So, you know, can't deny Ice Cube's talents, abilities, and influence. Jay-Z.
One thing I'll say about Ice Cube, his world structure is so good, and you know, I think the fact that he's a director and all that stuff, like, kind of plays into his rhyming ability, because he can set up ways that you'll understand, like. You know, you'll see it happening in your head, right? Which, is, again, as an MC, you should be able to do that anyway. But I think Ice Cube just, you know, kind of how he dropped, who he came up with, and the style of music they were as far as gangster rap, the scenes they were really trying to recreate or reimagine through the music, you know what I mean? Or, you know, reiterate through the music. His type of style, just, again, with the world structure, is so key, man, and it can't be overlooked, definitely.
One of the kings of New York, one of the kings of the bling era. So many people were trying to sound like Jay-Z in the 2000s. It was ridiculous. And on top of it, his ability to sort of turn hip-hop into a venture and put people on super effectively. I mean, there are multiple careers that would not be around today if it were not for Jay-Z. Multiple, you know, hip-hop careers that you and I both care about pretty deeply. Catalog is impressive. Commercial success is impressive. Jay-Z is obviously a very respected lyricist as well. There's nothing really that, in terms of the criteria that I was looking for in this list, that Jay-Z really lacks. You know, Jay-Z kind of has it all. We have Juicy J as well, also of 3 6 Mafia fame.
I don't think it needs to be reiterated, but yeah, Hov gets a lot of hate nowadays, at least in some of the polls that I see, and it can't be tolerated, man. Jay-Z, aka Hova, whatever you want to call him, you know what I'm saying? He got to be credited with all counts. You're right, lyrically, business-wise, as a conglomerate, just like what he brings to the table as far as what he's talking about, bling culture and floss culture. Man, he gave y'all a lot of that. So. Yeah.
Who has a pretty solid, solo catalog when it comes to singles and super recognizable, voice and style. Huge impact on Southern hip hop.
He's sitting on Juicy J, but I want to hit back on Hova one more time. Reasonable Doubt, one of the best lyrical albums I think you can get from Jay. And it's young Jay, he was still writing at that time, so just a different side of Jay, I think, when it comes to that album. But also, probably his most timeless album when it comes to me, especially when you got the features from Biggie and some others on there, Mary J. Blige, you know what I mean? Like, just a great album altogether.
Which has, branched off into so many sounds and styles that are influential and huge today. Kanye West, do I need to explain it? Kanye fucking West.
He's a Kanye lover, okay, but that's cool. I like Kanye too, man. Kanye, yeah, I think he got, again, gets hated on a lot, very misunderstood, maybe understood perfectly. I don't know, does he understand himself at times? It's all three great questions, I believe. And, Kanye, when it comes to music, however, we cannot argue the fact that he's just put together some classic albums, brought some of the best collabs, you know what I'm saying, has jumped off some multiple careers, gave some of artists their best hits, man. Like, Kanye, man, you cannot discredit Mr. West.
Great catalog, great lyrical talent, super unique style. Great producer too, if I didn't already say it. Kendrick Lamar, mega talented, great catalog. Obviously, I gave T-Pab the greatest record of the past decade, accolade when I did my 2010s list. So, Kendrick Lamar, no reason he shouldn't be on this list. KRS-One, one of the most progressive and groundbreaking rappers from New York. Boogie Down Productions, multiple solid solo records.
Yeah, Scott LaRock, KRS, of course, one of the original kind of like truth bringers of hip hop, just really trying to bring it brought God into the shit, and you know what I'm saying, just black, police violence or police brutality was kind of riding with that whole like hitting your hardcore sports with his style, just smack you in the mouth, like his tone is just full on the track. And KRS, man, like brought some rock to it, man, with the Back in Black sample with Boogie Down. And man, KRS ain't scared to experiment, and that's truly what we're talking about when we're talking about hip hop, is being creative and just trying to experiment new sounds. And you know what I mean, like you go on some of them KRS joints and you just hear like people beatboxing in the background and he just rhyming over that, and just just real organic, real to the root style is KRS, man. Definitely needs to be on the list.
Under that umbrella, under the solo umbrella, the way he's been able to fuse, multiple genres as well across his discography into the hip-hop form has been really impressive too. And Guy is a very impressive, public speaker as well. Has like a lot of great ideas on philosophy, politics, racial injustice. I mean, KRS-One is a guru of sorts. So if you get into the guy's music, also get into a lot of the stuff he puts out there in terms of his ideas on the world and so on and so forth. Because he's a great mind. LL Cool J, I think one of the most commercially significant rappers of the 80s. I don't know if the genre would be quite what it is or where it is without LL Cool J, even though historically a lot of that has been kind of ignored and overlooked because, he hasn't exactly stayed mega relevant throughout the entirety of the genre, at least in the music lane, because he went into acting in the way that he did and was successful in that venture too. But, LL Cool J has a lot of like super significant early records. Moving on from there, Lil B, one of the biggest and most groundbreaking and influential outsider rappers the genre has ever had. I think it's really worth asking, would the current internet-based landscape of hip-hop look the same if not for someone like Lil B revolutionizing mixtapes, revolutionizing freestyles, revolutionizing music videos and online promotion in the way that he has. Big respect to Lil B for kind of, really showing a new way, that I think a lot of rappers and artists are still benefiting from today, to the point.
Got to the point where I started seeing Lil and I just couldn't even click on it anymore. But, I hear where Fantano's coming from, man. You know what I mean? I'm about to check out Lil B. I haven't given him a true chance, so I'm not gonna judge him. You know what I'm saying? Just off the, well, I already have judged him off the name. I can't say that, but I will, maybe go ahead and check him out.
Point where they're not even aware of it. Next, Lil Kim. For quite a while, some would say
we got 3 Lils on this list. Like you feel me, right? Like by the time we got to Lil B, I was Lil out because we only got Lil Bow Wow. Lil Romeo, we don't got none of these niggas. So like, we missing a lot of Lils. Lil D, there's a lot of Lils. Too many Lils. Then we switched to Young, and I was just like, I'm done. I can't do the Lils and Youngs no more. I just can't.
The queen of hip hop.
I digress.
Not only because of her very raunchy, direct, and unique style, commercial success too, but also it was a weird time culturally where, for whatever reason, people couldn't seem to stomach more than one female rapper at a time. But in a lot of respects, Lil Kim was like the canary in the coal mine, kind of breaking that ground, pushing that envelope, so that we could at least get to the point today, and it took a while. It took a freaking while for us to get to a place where we have this wealth of fantastic women rapping right now who are totally killing it. And look, they've always been there. They've always been there. But the issue is that the industry hasn't always been willing to, push them in a way where they would actually be successful and they would actually, win. And it seems like
one of my homies, man, or not even one of my homies, but just like a motivational guy I listen to, man. I was more or less thinking about this before he ever said it, but he just clarified it in me that I was on the right path, right? And I'll get hate for this, but I just don't like riding around listening to women rap. Like it's kind of like sports. Like I just don't like watching women's basketball. You know what I mean? Like. It just don't intrigue me, right? And it's like anything I'm gonna learn, cause I listen to hip hop to learn, right? Like I don't got nothing to really learn from any females if they talking. Like I can't say I can't learn something from a female. I'm just not looking to. You know what I mean? Like I'm not. That's not really like why I'm looking for females. You know what I mean? So when it comes to the mic, like I like hearing viewpoints that I can kind of bring into my world and relate with and see if it is gonna grow me at all. And when it comes to females, man, I don't see females growing me. You know what I mean? So take it how you want to take it. Again, I might get hate for that, but that's just what it is.
We're finally like making room for that. And if it wasn't for Lil Kim, things would certainly be different. Lil Wayne. I mean, in a lot.
That being said, you know what I'm saying? I gave Lauryn Hill her props earlier. Lil Kim, again, definitely a great rappers, in their own right. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even saying what they don't say ain't hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like a lot of their verses when they be on. You know what I mean? It ain't like I'm not riding to it, but if it's just me in my car, I'm not grabbing the Lil Kim album. I'm not grabbing the Lauryn Hill album. I might grab the Fugees album. You know what I'm saying? I might grab the Fugees album, but I'm not just going to grab the Lauryn Hill album and ride. You know what I mean? If I'm listening to a female, it's going to be some Sade, because I like the smooth sound. You know what I mean? Or it's going to be some Ashanti, like some girl that's talking to me like she's mine. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I like listening to. Like, especially when it comes to females. I don't like females being hard on the mic and talking about how many niggas they can get with. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ghostface, you know what I mean? We on the joint and ride and do whatever we do, you know what I mean? But we spiritual with it. We grown men with it, you know what I'm saying? I'm respecting the flavor because it's real. Like, you know what I mean? It's something I can do. You know what I mean? It's something I can do.
A lot of respects for,
You know what I mean? Like, shoot, man. Like, just, you know what I mean? It's a culture. Y'all know what I'm saying. I hope y'all know what I'm trying to say. Ain't no hate, man. It's just like I just gotta grab what relates with me, what I resonate with. You know what I'm saying?
You know, during his heyday, revolutionized pop rap, multiple classics under his belt, revolutionized, mixtape drops too. And obviously, monster spitter, like one-liners galore, some of which have gotten him in trouble over the years. But you can't deny that the dude's mind goes in places that nobody else's mind would go. And, regardless of how you feel about his new stuff, his highlights are what his highlights are, and, his impact is what it is. It's undeniable. Lupe Fiasco.
All right, yeah, he's talking about Wayne. Wayne, man, I agree more or less with everything he said. I don't think people give early Wayne enough credit, man. I really loved his Hot Boys stuff, all this stuff with Cash Money, man, prior to the Hot Boys breakup, man. And, a lot of people jumped on Wayne with the Carter and the Carter 2, right? And then ultimately the Carter 3, which he had that whole mixtape underground scene with the Drought and No Ceilings and what's my one? The Suffix, the he got a lot of them. But yeah, I think some of them just again, when he was writing, right, like when they talk, kind of get on that no writing tip. Not to say that you can't do that and do that well, but a lot of times the substance gets lost. And I think at the time when he was coming up, there was a lot more substance, and he just cared about it. I thought the passion was more potent, but I don't know these guys, man. This is just an outside view looking in, man. So I just I appreciate all the work, man. I appreciate all the work these guys put in. And with Wayne, man, I just like that bling bling, like that lights out, which you can't stay young forever, man. He's grown up a whole lot since then, and he's taken the art where people were scared to take it with the rock album, just doing kind of like the not R&B, but definitely just kind of like being more playful on the mic and not being as lyrically focused on the mic at times, and just having a fun time with it, man. Living his life, and you can't hate that, man.
One of the greatest rappers out of Chicago, and one of the most talented high-concept rappers out there. His discography isn't always super consistent, but when Lupe is on, and he is unmatched by many. We also have MIA on the list, another great rapper out of the UK who came through with some really amazing and unique crossovers, has had quite a bit of commercial success, and an artist who really marches to the beat of her own drum. I would certainly say was ahead of the curve in a lot of respects too, especially when you look at a record like Maya, for example. So MIA, huge respect to her. I think, she's mega underrated in the, broader sense of the genre. She did have her kind of moment in the limelight in the 2000s, but I think her significance, at least for me personally, should last far beyond that. We have Missy Elliott, her solo stuff,
I see a figure like MIA, no disrespect to her, but I'm always thinking about DMX. Like, I'm like, damn, DMX still wasn't. He ain't on this list. Damn. I don't know if Guru was on this list. Damn.
What she also was able to accomplish with Timbaland over the years too is incredible.
Missy Elliott is a nice little pick, man. I noticed her on the Billboard list too. I think Missy Elliott is a unique case, just because again her style is something different. She surrounded herself with a lot of great figures in hip hop. He's going in on Timbaland right now, but also Busta Rhymes, Ludacris, like just people of that, just that down south kind of like, not even down south, but just that just had proper figures in the game, well respected in the game. And, she surrounded herself with strong figures that made her just shine even more because, she was a star a lot of times. And she was doing shit that, a lot of females weren't doing, like dressing in the big bag and rhyming like that. And she was a heavier set girl when she came on the scene. So the fact she was getting down and just loving herself and, being confident and just, really believing it, though, like, or at least, she believed, like, at least to me, it was like she believed it, like, it was Missy, man, and she had some great tracks, man. I Can't Stand the Rain and 1 Minute Man, and she got a lot of joints, man. But yeah, definitely down with Missy.
Amazing, super unique voice.
Never really saw her as a lyricist, but always just like to get the party started. Like Missy got that, man, but she do got flow. Like just what she be saying, she don't be saying. She kind of like an Eric Sermon, right? Like she get on, say what she say, and dip out. But again, there ain't nothing wrong with that, cause it's just how you do it.
Voice and talent, and really had a style and sound all her own that I think is more relevant today than it's ever been. It's just a shame that many people don't really realize it because of sort of that point in time where she dropped off for a little bit. But hopefully, Zoomers kind of go back and appreciate her older work and what she was able to contribute to hip hop music. MF Doom, a lot of people on this channel know and love MF Doom. Multiple classics under his belt, super unique, influential style, influential to many young rappers that are more left field today, and that's just
Doom, as far as a producer, is underrated. As far as a lyricist, I think he's appropriately rated, but I think it takes an ear for Doom for sure because his style is so different. Had some younger years with KMD, which his style was a little bit more energetic. I think due to the fact that maybe he was with his brother, and then his brother passed, and that's when he kind of took the image of Doom, right? So I think Doom was kind of like an alternative way to kind of like deal with it. Maybe I don't know, you know what I mean? But this is kind of like a viewpoint. But Doom, as far as just stylistically, again, production wise, just takes you to a new world. Another one of those, just like if I had to put like I don't know, he was using a lot of Fantastic Four rips in the Doomsday album, and just how that album's put together, like it's kind of like, I don't want to say in a comic book, but you're on another planet. Like how like in Star Trek you be in the ship the whole time, and then you finally get to the planet and the planet's crazy or something. Like that's what, like each planet to me was like a different Doom track. That's kind of how like I listen to Doom, like what planet we landed on. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause that's just how he puts stuff together.
I don't know. You've heard me praise this guy numerous times. I don't think I need to do it any further. Mos Def, I think one of the best conscious and more backpack type rappers, as people might used to refer to it, of the 2000s. Multiple classics under his belt, 2 Black on Both Sides, amazing. I would also say Black Star, obviously amazing, great lyricist, great storyteller too. Had some commercial success as well. Mos Def is just a great artist that deserves all the praise in the world. Nas, Nasty Nas, I think it's pretty self-explanatory why he is on this list. The catalog, the relevance, everything kind of speaks for itself. Nicki Minaj, great talent, great style. Obviously paved the way for a lot of women rappers today, and in much the same way Lil Kim did. I mean, while the transition out of the Nicki era has, I think, been a little contentious to a degree.
And this is my problem, right? Because it's not the fact that Nicki's not talented. It's not the fact that she doesn't bring something to the microphone. It's just a lot of times the shit these people be talking about, and this is all MCs, not just female MCs. But what are you talking about? Like, they really don't be talking about nothing that's really helpful, more or less, for the culture. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people that's living these lifestyles these dudes talking about, and or trying to live the lifestyles these dudes talking about, and it's creating this culture that's destructive. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm saying we're missing from it. That's the main element we're missing from hip-hop. There's no spiritual guidance, man. So when you got a lot of people talking about bullshit and no spirituality in it, like, because there's a way to talk about experiences that are bad, but you don't have to have the negative energy that comes with it. Like, and I think that's the problem. Like, we are hearing all these, we got a lot of artists that are spitting, whatever they be spitting, and then as the consumer, it's just mush. Like, I don't know, like how they're processing it. Like, there's no clear, concise message, so niggas is just mushing their brain, man. And just as artists, man, and not to say Nicki is just bringing mush, but it's just one of the things. It's like it's WAP, right? That's the one I'm mad about. Is that the one I'm going in on? I don't even know, man. Hold on. Nah, that's Cardi B and Nicki. But it's the same thing. Same thing. I mean, what's Nicki's top song? What's her song? Tuco Taka, Super Freaky Girl, Bang Bang. You know what I'm saying? Super Bass, Starships might be out. But Anaconda, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and again, it ain't for me. That's what I'm saying. Like, that ain't for me. I ain't saying a female can't bump some Nicki Minaj and be hype, because I've seen them do it. But for me, I'm not grabbing the Nicki Minaj album and sliding in. It just ain't gonna happen. No reason for me to do it. Why would I do it? What am I gonna grasp from that? You feel me?
I think, at the end of it, Nicki is still coming out ahead in terms of what she brings to the table lyrically and vocally, what she brings to the table in terms of versatility, and what she has brought to the table in terms of just like impact,
No DMX on this list. I just gotta reiterate that.
And commercial success too. So, ODB, Old Dirty Bastard, was weird in a way that we could not completely understand.
The thing with ODB, man, is he'd had some demons, but at the same time, he was so real. He was so real for the world that I felt like the world didn't understand his real, right? Like, he was so real that he didn't see anybody that was just as real. And I think that hurt ODB, man. And I don't know if that's true, but just from stories I've heard and just, things I've heard here and there from different room members and around this life, man. ODB was a different type of character, man. Like, he was a different brother, man. And yeah, like, it's just like when you talk about stylistically on the mic, like, you go listen to 36 Chambers, and I'm sure like there's a couple verses that pop up on different songs like 2 or 3 times, but it's just like the way he delivering it and the way he's coming at it and his energy about it, it brings an interest to it. And ODB is one of them that it's just like, you'll never get another one, man. Like, you'll never get another one. Like, I know I tried to compare Danny, but Danny ain't nowhere on the ODB type of, not to me, like, again, because he's post ODB. So, the originator he holds the title in a lot of ways. And ODB is just like, again, even his son, like, his son is, doing the tours with the group and stuff. But when you talk about just capturing that raw energy, like, there's only one, man. There's only one ODB, man.
And even fully appreciate, or even fully, distill in any way for years.
And you talk about a spiritual essence on the mic, man. I think that's what his style is. Like, again, like, you can talk about bad stuff and not have the energy. You can be raw and not have the negative energy. So it's just like how Dirty brings it to the mic and just what he's talking about and how he is. Like, there's just a lot of spiritual sensations going on when this brother is, really at his livest. And it's just like, man, it's just a lot to handle, man. It's a lot going on with the brother.
I think ODB's impact, or at least what he paved the way for, was a little delayed, because these days, like, so many rappers out there are trying to be the weirdo. So many rappers out there are trying to be like the unpredictable, unhinged kind of guy who's got something ridiculous or just like way too real to say. The guy who's screaming his brains off. That's all stuff that ODB was doing during a time where
and he was just him. It wasn't no act. It wasn't no, I'm going to be the weirdest dude I can be today. It was just him. And that's what we're missing, man, when we're coming to a lot of these artists that we talk about in hip-hop, man. The authenticity. Just be you, man, but bring it in an interesting way and show your light, man. Like, show your light. I don't need your falsetto light. You know what I mean? I don't need your brand of daylight in a light bulb, man. I need your actual light, your natural light. I need your sun out. You know what I mean?
I mean, people fucked with it. People respected it, because that Wu-Tang credibility for a time was strong. And ODB had good singles too. ODB did have good singles, but he wasn't necessarily appreciated for his oddity as much as I think he at least should be in this day and age. So ODB, certainly one of my favorite rappers, and many reasons to put him on this list. On top of that, Pharaoh Monch, incredible lyrical ability, mega talented, super technical, super flashy. Can get quite topical and thoughtful too on a track as well. One of the most commercially successful rappers, no, but when it comes to, you know, the more technical side of things, somebody who is well known, well respected, studied, and worshipped. Pusha T, one of the greatest coke rappers out there of all time. Clips, his solo work too. A lot of people love that Daytona record. What he's successfully done with good music as well. Top-notch feature after top-notch feature. One of the greatest diss tracks of all time as well. Certainly the greatest diss track of the 2010s. This man can count as one of his successes. Also, you have to consider, like, would Pharrell, would the Neptunes be where they are if not for what they were able to, you know, kind of create with Push and with Clips at the time that they did too. So, you know, a lot of...
And, you know, since we're around the ends, he brought up the Neptunes. Where's Noriega, man? Like, a lot of people overlook Noriega. Like, Nori, maybe, you know, catalog-wise, maybe not the strongest, but I mean, you talk to any hip-hop head, he gonna have War Report in there as one of his top albums. You know what I'm saying? And then, for me, just the title track, Nori, or the self-titled track, I guess I should say, or self-titled album. Nori, man, is classic, man, with just how it comes in, man, with the styles and Big Pun and your boy Nature on man, what's that track name called, man? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Jump Off. I think it's called a Jump Off. Yeah, I think it's called a Jump Off. But yeah, man. And then again, he helped discover the Clips. You know what I'm saying? And Nothing. One of their hits to Nori. So I just gotta give Nori a shout out, man. No DMX, no Nori. Crazy. No Fat Joe.
Throughways made in the genre by Pusha T. So, you know, that can't be denied. Q-Tip. Tribe Called Quest. Fantastic features across his discography too.
No Paz de Noose. De La Soul. No Dave Trugoy. De La Soul. Got Q-Tip on here though. Rocking with the natives. What do they call? What do they call? Man, my mind is everywhere. Anyway, Q-Tip, definitely legit.
I mean, Q-Tip is one of the most legendary voices in jazz rap ever. The multiple classics that he and Tribe put out over the years speak for themselves. The impact he had on New York in general speaks for itself. You know, no matter what era of hip-hop or sort of no matter what style or vibe you're into, you know, there's always some time for some Tribe. Moving on from there, we have Queen Latifah. Very progressive and, you know, forward-thinking for an artist of her time. You know, I mean, her debut has a lot of fantastic tracks on it. Also, Black Rain is, I think, one of the better boom bap records of the 90s as well. What she was able to do, you know, during those first 2 decades, I think is totally respectable. Obviously, you know, she sort of drifted away from, you know, music and sort of what she came into the music game with stylistically in many respects. And I don't know, I mean, I think that speaks to her multiple talents going into the makeup game, going into acting and so on and so forth. But, you know, and it's great that she's been able to see the success that she has doing all of that. But her you know, her early music career should certainly be remembered too, because there were a lot of great highlights within that. Raekwon, who I think is the last Wu-Tang rapper we have in this list. Quite a bit of Wu-Tang representation.
No Inspector Deck on this list, which again I think is probably one of the most slept on MCs ever. No Method Man on this list. Crazy to think that Method Man was the Wu-Tang member he left out for this list. Like, I ain't hating on it because I've got so much respect for Ray, and Ghostface, just for them to get their recognition is enough for me. But, you know, Method Man cannot be discredited. No Redman. I'm seeing that. That's kind of ridiculous. I don't agree with that. Especially, I don't agree with that at all. No, I can't even make up nothing on that, man. That's just ridiculous. That's just... It's not right. It's not right. But Raekwon's on here, so, you know, love Raekwon. Rakim's on here. Can't have Ride on here, and Redman's not on here. I don't know who Ride is, but you can't have him on here. No, we gotta put Red on here.
But I mean, you can't really deny Only Built for Cuban Links. You can't really deny how influential his contributions to Wu-Tang were. And you know, dude has
my case for Inspector Deck is that he sets off Cream, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with, and a couple other Wu joints, man. It was a primary feature on Liquid Swords. I mean, on all of his features, really, he just comes correct. Triumph, just having probably the hardest verse or most recognized verse on Triumph, man. Like, yeah, you gotta have Deck, man. Deck gotta be on here. And again, Red, like, I don't even have to say nothing. Red, I'm kind of disappointed in Fantano. You know what I mean? Like, for not having Red on here, because I figured he would have Red as a definite, but. You know, maybe he's looking at this list like, oh man, I forgot.
Classics and certainly a lot of influence when it comes to drug raps, mafioso rap, kingpin rap, which is still a super relevant theme today. Fast forwarding to Griselda, who are thriving still today off a lot of the themes that, you know, Raekwon helped, you know, make popular in his solo work. Rakim, Eric B. and Rakim. Some of the greatest hip-hop records of the 80s, and like Eric Sermon, who I was talking about earlier, I would say this applies even more so for him, somebody who was super significant to the genre while the blueprint, in many respects, was still being formed. Flow and rhythm, which prior to his work were very rudimentary in the 80s, very rudimentary. You know, not in all cases, but pretty rudimentary. But Rakim had a smoothness and a rhythmic sensibility about him that instantly caught on and dictated a lot of what would come in the 90s, which eventually would obviously dictate would come in the 2000s and so on and so forth. Like, you're talking about a significant DNA strand here, creatively, which, if taken away, the genre would look completely different. So, Rakim, huge respect and appreciation.
A lot of people refer to Rakim as the god, you know what I'm saying? When it comes to hip-hop, man, it's like, when you talk about stylistically, he's kind of hitting on it, just cadence, rhythm, flow, just breath control, and just making it natural, man. Ain't nobody better than Rakim, man. Ain't nobody more thorough, man. And again, just with classic joints, Paid in Full. One of my favorite albums is Don't Sweat the Technique, man. And it's just like, yeah, like Rakim's voice on some of them joints, man. Just, again, it's a hype joint, but he just keeps you chilling. You on the block and you moving, right?
Appreciation to, obviously, everything that he did over the years. Listen to Paid in Full. Ride, a.k.a. MC Ride, Death Grips, I think one of the most significant and unique vocalists in hip-hop ever. Boundary pushing, and I think one of the best creative runs of the 2010s, too. So, yeah, Ride, Death Grips, industrial hip-hop.
I'm taking him off and putting Red on here. He just forgot. He had to just forget. There's no way Redman gets left off this list, man. It just can't happen. It's not a hip hop list if Redman on the list. It's not. It's just not. And I can't discredit Fantano's whole list, man. I can't do it. So we're gonna have to either get in touch with Fantano and talk about this, or we're gonna have to do something with the list, man. Somebody gotta leave. I don't know who it is, but somebody gotta leave and put Redman on this list, man.
How groundbreaking and influential that's proven to be to the genre. I think there's
the Funk Doctor, man. Come on, dog.
Really no denying my reasoning behind putting him on a list. If you're trying to appreciate, all sects and sort of, legs of the genre. Kicking off the S's, we have Houston's own Scarface, one of the most topically focused and lyrically talented rappers to ever come out of the South. A guy who has classics in multiple decades, whether you're talking about his late 80s work with the Ghetto Boys, his solo stuff in the 90s, even in the 2000s with The Fix. Slick Rick, one of the greatest and most unique and eccentric rappers to ever come out of New York. Great storyteller too. Snoop Doggy Dogg. I think Snoop's influence, his style, his flow, his everything is, making him worthy of a spot here for sure. T.I., one of the kings of the South? Would trap music even be what it is today without T.I.? Most likely no. And finally, Tyler, the Creator, the final name and the last kind of modern name on the list as well. What Tyler's brought to the genre in terms of musical diversity, versatility, and the way that he's kind of revolutionized the ethos of the style too, with Odd Future and all the names and talent that came out of that as, you know, a collective, as a brand, as a philosophy too, I think has been super significant. You're talking so many connections kind of coming off of him. You know, be that Earl, be that Frank Ocean, be that the internet, be that, you know, sort of like this new evolution of this online DIY ethos, and how that's kind of intersected with so many artsy and alternative scenes, skating scenes too. I mean, culturally, what Tyler has been able to mix together with his music and with his brand has been really impressive. And, you know, while Tyler may not be the most technically proficient rapper out there, he's certainly a talented songwriter, a talented musician and producer, somebody who comes up with great ideas and concepts, and somebody who, you know, has the talent to bring a lot of different people and ideas and sounds together in a way that is cohesive and just sensible. I've enjoyed the highs and the lows of his discography in retrospect, and just kind of seeing him change and evolve. And yeah, again, this is the last name on the list. Those are the 55 rappers. Thank you for watching. I know this has been a long and a big video, but you know, and it took me a little bit to get through all of the artists and all of my reasoning, but that's the 55. That's the 55 for you. Let me know what you thought about this list. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Who did I leave off of it? Oh my God, who should have been on it? And put your own list down below if you want to make a list of your top 10, top 5, dead or alive, 55 greatest, whatever you want.
No Jada on the list. No Jada Kiss. No Styles. No Beanie Siegel. No Freeway. No Guru. Again, no De La. Oh man. No Red and Meth. Neither of them. No Redman. No. I don't even know if I could have a conversation about hip hop without showing love for Redman and Method Man. No Juvenile on the list. No Mystical. Man. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about it, bruh. I don't, you know what I mean? Fantano's his own man, and he got his own ear, right? So he can put whoever he wants to on the list. We'll go ahead and like this video. Since we know he helping us out and all that. I'm already subscribed to Fantano. Yeah, it's just, see, this guy understands. This guy, he's like, no pun, no L, no Prodigy. That's crazy. Didn't even talk about that. DMX, no J. Cole, no, probably a lot of people was mad about that. No 50 Cent. That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. This dude's with me. Game. We got Game, Luda, Method, Red, and Talib. This is my homie right here. No Talib. That's crazy. I didn't even think about that. No Game. Let's see who else down here that I might have forgot about that y'all was talking about. Oh man, this guy's offended. He said Phife Dawg ain't on the list. He said he was offended. He said he can stomach J. Cole, but he can't stomach Phife Dawg. That's my dude right there. Cause I personally wouldn't put J. Cole on my list either. But I think it's just an era thing. I think it's just kind of like when I grew up. Like I just don't look at Cole like that. Let's see if we can find anybody else y'all talking about real quick before we get out of here. I know we've been here a long time, y'all, but when we talking hip hop and you talking me, which I'm not on the list, that shit's crazy. Nah, I'm fucking with y'all. I should be on the list. Fuck it. Yeah, man. If I don't put me on the list, who gonna put me on the list? Yeah, a lot of people's talking about the DMX, man. I figured DMX would cause a lot of rowdiness. No Dre on this list, but I can understand that as far as rapping. E4, no Too Short. A lot of people hating on Too Short. I might have to do a rappers list, y'all. I might have to give y'all a legit top 55 rappers, top 50 rappers list. I might give y'all the most coldest rappers. I'm not gonna commit right yet. You know what I'm saying? But if I can find the time to really just put my mind to it, I'm gonna create a 50 rappers list, and I promise you it'll be correct. It's gonna be a correct list. It's not gonna be no BS. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's sneaking on my list. And there might be somebody you don't agree with, but you're going to have to look at the credentials I put next to him, and you're just going to have to sit with it. You're going to be like, oh, man, you know what I mean? Like, he got a point with that, though. I can't even knock that. Who else on here that y'all talking about? Anybody else? Anybody? Oh, the DLC ain't on the list. Ooh, yeah, I was thinking about the Furious 5, too. They got the Furious 5 down here. Grandmaster Cash, Cool Mo D, man. We forget about the Pioneers a lot of time. Some people mad about Joey Badass not being on here. I can kind of chill with that. Arrow Sweatshirt, I can chill with that too. Killer Mike, he's been doing his thing lately. I don't know if I put him on my top 50. Let's see. Some people mad Logic on here. I doubt he'd be on my list. All right, man. I think we said more or less the notable. Some dude mad about Immortal Technique. I wouldn't put him on my list either. As far as top 50 in series, I like Immortal, but again, like this dude got it. He got Inspect on here. This dude's a real one. Sadat X. Oh, Grand Poobah could have also been a good one, man. Yeah. Definitely, bro. I like this one, man. I don't think that's the actual Jizza. All right. I could go all day with this, man. Hold up. My bad. Yo, what happened? Yo. Well, y'all, I done messed around and clicked out the video, so shoot, I guess that's the end of it, man. Yo, till next time, keep God close. This is your host. I hope you have fun over here, man. Again, I know this was a longer one, man. But you know, D's World. It's been a while since I've been over here, and I've been just liking talking this hip hop shit. There's gonna be a couple things, said in the post credits or whatever, man. I got a couple projects I'm pushing, so you know what I'm saying. You can fast forward over there and check out what I'm promoting over there. But go check out the Force Field. Go check out Deep Cut. Check out Drawn Up. I got an album dropping. Heal You LP. It's on the way. I got the artwork up and just finished a couple of the cuts on it. So it's wrapping up and it's coming right around the corner. I got another joint with Spaceman Jones from UCW Wrestling getting prepped and ready to drop. And then I got one with my man Chad from Porno Arcade that we were, again, getting the artwork for it and getting it pressed and dropped, man. So a couple of projects in the works. I'll be around. Just holler at me, y'all. Yeah, I don't know how I exited out of that joint, but it is what it is. Yeah, keep God close, and this is your host, Drunk.
Regenerated, my own hip hop, nothing to play with. The vision to God, powerful paces. All alone won't stop, perfect my goal. Oh my Lord. Yo, regenerated. My own hip hop, nothing to play with. The vision to God, powerful paces. All alone won't stop, perfect my goal. Oh my I'm stuck in this constant bomb shit. I plug explosive the nostrils through your console. From underground, I kept the silencer holes on the nozzle. In the open field, no